Backwards, and welcome to a new episode of Craft the Story. Today I'm going to be doing another page in my summer notebook. We've had some fun adventures around here recently, and as I am returning home and kind of settling back into a work schedule and a home schedule, one of the things that was pulling at me, or I was feeling invited to do, was just capture a quick little bit about what is happening around here right now. Just a quick synopsis of, like, I feel like everybody's kind of going in different directions, and that's a lot of the phase of life that I am in right now, and these are the kinds of stories that I want to make sure that I am including in my projects. The notebook, again, continues to be a size that calls to me also, so I'm going to do another page of that today, and this one's not going to have any photos. So my plan here is that I sat on my computer this morning and I just kind of downloaded from my mind what are some of the things that are happening around here for each person in our family. You can see that I printed this off on a 8.5 sheet of paper, but I think what I'm going to do is I want to rerun it through my computer, and I'm going to cut this piece of pattern paper right here to fit on that size and then rerun it through the computer. So let's go ahead and do that. I set this up in Illustrator. That's the program that I often use for the design work that I do, but also just for setting up journaling. You can also do this in Photoshop. So I'm going to simply temporarily adhere this on here. This is pattern paper from our Circle scrapbook kit. And then my plan with this one, this will be one page for journaling, and then the other page I'm going to do some alphabet stamping on there. Something probably that's just going to say around here over and over again is a little bit of what I am thinking that I will do on this one. Just quickly flipping back through what I have so far in my summer notebook. I will be filling this in with a few more stories also. Couple of other little adventures that Aaron and I took, and our camping adventure. I also took some of your advice recently and just actually pulled out some of the pages in this notebook. You can see where some of the stitching, where you can see the stitches coming out a little bit there, but it's basically these ones specifically, which are the Art of Noticing notebooks, have some that are really easy to pull out. So I just kind of established what that was, pulled those out, and it made it a little less thick. So I'm going to go ahead and work right directly off of here. Again, running this through my printer first, and then I'll be back on here to do a little bit of stamping. All right, so I reran that through my printer. I had that temporarily adhered on there, and this is going to be able to become a page right in here that I can trim a little bit and maybe not have it in as far on the edge. And then I'm going to do some stamping over here on the other side. Couple things that I was thinking about. One of the things for me when I if I feel like I haven't told very many stories lately, or I've been a little bit of distanced from like direct memory keeping sorts of things, the around here prompt, which I've done hundreds of times before, is always a good one that pulls me back in. I think about each person in our family, and I think a little bit about what's happening for them right now. What are they into? What do they not like? You can do a significantly deeper dive. You could do like each person of your family and do a longer one of these too. It's great for little kids. It's pretty great for older kids too, kind of document just what are they into right now? What are the things that you're noticing, as well as the things that they are loving? So lots of options related to that. I feel like it's just a way that pulls me back into memory keeping again. So in this case, for me being gone for almost a week, like this is a nice, easy gateway back into the practice of memory keeping. So I just did it one for each person. Obviously we've got a bunch of different people here, and that is great. All right, so what I also want to do, I wanted to do some stamping. I pulled out a bunch of my alphabet stamps here. I have started using the stamp sleeves. We offer these in the shop now as well, and they're great, especially for the alphabet ones, which are ones that I use probably most regularly out of my stamps, and the numbers too. So being able to have, like these ones are going to go inside the sleeves. It just helps them stand up a little bit better, keeps them a little more protected, and in case any of them start kind of slipping off there, then they can still be inside the sleeve. Oh, and I see I have that one. Where did I see that was one twice? All right, so I think I'm gonna use this one, which is the filled in one. That was one that we offered for December Daily originally, but I love alphabets. They're just super universal. To do is use stuff that you maybe wouldn't necessarily think of as papers. And so this really, like, cutting something like this up, right? This was the thing that I printed on first, and then I was stamping off on here. But I love the idea that I could put something like this on here. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stamp the date really big on top of there. You know, I think a lot of times we feel like it has to be perfect, it has to be pattern paper, and it has to be the long story, it has to be, you know, like all these things that we think of in our head where it has to be, where the reality is it can be these shorter stories, it can be these lovely little snippets and looks at what's happening in our lives right now, and it can be the messy stuff, right? It doesn't all have to be purchased sorts of things, it can be something like this. I'm also thinking about time, right? And how much time we have to do all of the things that we want to do in our lives. And I know that many of you out there love memory keeping, maybe you love watching the videos, you love purchasing the product, and maybe you spend more of your time doing that than actually telling the stories. But what I want you to know is that you can always, there is always time to tell the stories. I want you, I mean, even right now, like turn off the video right now, go write down a few different things about what's happening around your own house right now, print it out, stick it in a notebook, maybe add some stamping if that's what you're into, or add some pattern paper and some products and call it good, right? It doesn't have to be a super complicated adventure. So what I'm looking at doing is adding this inside of here, and I'm gonna do the date along the bottom, or just right along the seam, so that's like inside part of it. Keeping it light, right? Keeping it light, keeping it easy, keeping it fun. Remembering that we don't have to have specific rules, or there doesn't have to be done in a certain way. For me, it always and continues to be, how can I focus on the story, right? How can I include a little bit more of the story? right, so I did add a couple things on this one. As you saw, I added one of the half circles that was also part of that circle scrapbook kit. I'm just gonna leave the rest of this. Like I've got the extra stuff on there. I've got my date stamped on here, July 29th, 2021. I added in the ampersand because I like the concept of and around here, or the ands can be linking these ones together, and I just love these puffy ampersands. Those were, actually I think that they may still be available as an add-on for subscribers this month. I've got the stamping, I've got the repeat stamping, and I've got my story. So just a nice little addition of a another little summer story, kind of a catch up of where we're at right now. I'm not worried at all about adding in like stories that happened before today from the summer. That'll be, I'm gonna be totally fine with that. Add in a few more in here, but a quick look, mainly focused on stamping, obviously no photos. Nice to remember that we've got lots of different options as we are documenting. All right, that's a wrap for this week's Craft the Story. We'll see you guys back here again next week.